It's official.
We're halfway to spooky season.
You know what that means. Or do you?
In this episode, in honor of the big day, I'm going to rank my top 5 favorite final girls from Friday the 13th. That's right, ladies. This is ladies' night. So, which of these persevering players put the ghoulish goalie in his permanent penalty box the best?
You're going to Camp Blood, ain't you? You'll never come back again. It's got a death curse.
Welcome to my channel. Thank you for clicking on my video.
My time is coming, it's too late now to rewind. So let it go and open up your mind.
Hello world! I'm Chris Maitini, aka Mr. FLIXTER! Mr. FLIXTER! So, who qualifies? I'm going to lay down some ground rules. She almost certainly has to be a virgin. And most likely doesn't drink alcohol, do drugs, or have sex. Because all those equals death in a slasher. Also, she's got to display cunning and bravery when facing off against Jason. She needs to have a sense of agency and heroism. More importantly, she needs to be likable, relatable, and empathetic. She needs that character growth, too. Start off one way and become a whole new person by the end. A better person. Most likely because she faced her fears. And the most important attribute is the will to survive. She can't just be the last one alive because of happenstance. But before I get into that real quick, these are the women that were disqualified. They're on the cutting room floor. First, KM14, played by Lisa Ryder, from Jason X from 2001. Only her head was left by the end of the flick, because she's an android, so she could eventually get rebuilt. Next is Laurie, played by Monica Keena from Freddy vs. Jason from 2003. For me, she was always Freddy's final girl, not Jason. Her story arc is about her connection to Freddy. In fact, she even teams up with Jason to defeat Freddy. So she's out. Next on my list of disqualifications is Jessica, played by Carrie Keegan, from Jason Goes to Hell in 1993. Jason's cousin isn't introduced until halfway through the 9th film in the franchise, and she has to be saved by several male characters, such as the diner owner and the bounty hunter, for the rest of the flick. Putting the forced family tree aside, she doesn't put up much of a fight until she comes last minute, and she steals all the glory of killing Jason. However, she gets small bonus points, because she is the reason Freddy meets Jason after all, by sending him to hell. Lastly on the list of disqualifications is Whitney, played by Amanda Righetti from the remake from 2009. She's the final girl by default, because she spends more time being a hostage than being actively involved in the plot. She's more of a MacGuffin than a character. She gets even more demerits for getting Jason close to a wood chipper and not using it to her advantage. WTF? Talk about missed opportunity. For shame. I had the pleasure of meeting Amanda Righetti at Niagara Falls Comic Con in 2024. Let's hear what she has to say in her own words, shall we?
Welcome to the stage, the incredibly gigantic but friendly giant vibes, Derek Mears and Amanda Righetti. They're coming in, they got their water, they're ready to go. Everyone's nice.
We're all nice in Canada.
I'm American. The first time you saw him in costume, were you like,
Yeah, no,
this is a
it
lot?
totally, it freaked me out. No, we were filming nights. My character was mostly nights. And I had a really hard time sleeping during the day. And Derek Mears / Jason Voorhees was haunting me in my waking hours and my sleeping hours.
I like that you said yeah, both names, because Derek is definitely still haunting you as Derek. It makes sense. No, I get it.
Paul's everywhere I go.
A quick interjection with working with Amanda. That was so amazing. When we were doing the scene where it makes me laugh when certain fans are like, Jason doesn't take hostages. And I'm like, oh, you don't get it. That's cool. You don't get the subtext. It's not.
You just don't get it. That's...
Because I try to explain to people going, oh no, the subtext of it is like he's been rejected by society. His only love is his mother, and she's murdered in front of him. He wants to be left alone, but these kids are almost like the one. That's the one who killed them right now. So when he's holding on, Jason keeps Amanda because he's like, oh my God, like she looks so much like his mom. Like I love you. Like as human beings, we need love, and he craves that love. But on the other side, going, you're the one that killed my mother, and I want to destroy you. So he's doing this mental conflict, trying to figure out like, what's going on, because as human beings, we're not supposed to be alone. We're pack animals. And being that I did so much psychological research about what the effects of that was, so the confusion. But the point I was getting with Amanda, it was the wildest thing. Like she's such a professional actress. There are times where, because sometimes we talk about we have the analogy where it's like a radio dial. If the emotion in the scene needs to be over here, and my normal emotion for my personality is over here, I have to hover closer in this area to like the smaller emotional jump. And she would do this thing where she would separate from the set, and she would go into the character, and she would moan and cry, and she would get herself to the point. But it was so hard because I would hear her, and she's like my sister, and like hearing her and seeing her cry and shake.
You want to help her.
I know you're doing your process. You are an A-list, so like actress. Like
Are you okay? Leave me alone.
Like, exactly. Make sure you're okay. Like, I got it. Whatever you need. But she was so committed to it. And there were times where I don't know if you remember this. We were doing the one take, and when I was slamming behind because I was that frustrated when you were down there. Someone was talking.
I remember. Yes, I remember.
You lost your shit.
I lost it.
It was so cool. I was like,
Lost it.
Oh, like someone talking when they weren't supposed to be talking?
Well, yeah, because when you're rolling, you're not supposed to be talking.
Sure.
The only people who are supposed to be talking are the actors. And, you know, it's a lot. And look, wait, did we shoot that on film or was that on digital?
I don't remember.
I think it was film. I think it was film because it was a SAG contract. And, you know, sometimes you only get 1 or 2 takes.
Yeah.
And if somebody blows that take for you,
Sure.
and you're there
Yeah.
and ready to go, to get back to that place, time is money on set. And the set's not going to wait for you to be ready a second time, or third time, or fifth time, or 10th time. You have to be on. And so when you're on and you're ready and somebody else blows it for you,
Sure.
oh, it's heartbreaking.
Well,
It's
you're
like,
gonna be
I
that
knew,
character.
It's like you can feel it. It's like this is going to be the one, and then you hear somebody
Quiet on set.
you know, so, but, you know, I used it. I just used it.
Also, emotionally, she's so close to that manic, like, stress
Yeah.
out already. So immediately you switched it, but you defended me because it was during one of my things as we were doing it, and you were like, "What the fuck? Like, what?" She's like, "What? He's acting right now. Why are you being so disrespectful? Like, let him do. Like, what are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's my lady."
I'm actually probably my next question, which I've worked with some actors that literally use, this one woman, she used like a hair clip and she would like pinch part of her skin. It was like a drug mule movie. She
Yeah.
like her family was getting beat up. It was like really, really intense. Her kids were kidnapped and all this crap. And so she literally, one day I was like, why do you have a red mark on you? Because I was just doing her, I was putting one scar on her every day for like 2 months. And then I was like, oh, what's that? Is there anything that you've done like to put yourself into think of dead rabbits or like anything? I only say that because that's what I've thought of dead rabbits once and it made me really sad. So,
For Friday the 13th, I mean, look, for me, technique is whatever works. And with Friday the 13th, I implemented more, I think, Meisner than anything, because I was sort of playing off of a lot of the emotions that Derek was giving, and so it availed me to be more open to
Okay.
that stuff, but it's also like, because it was so intense, you can't, for me, it's very difficult to just switch off and switch back in. Like, I gotta kind of stay in it
Sure.
to stay truthful to it, otherwise I start to fake it too much, and if I'm faking it, the audience isn't.
the crowd's everybody's gonna know, right? Yep.
If I don't believe it,
No,
you're not
they're
gonna.
not gonna believe it.
So it depends on the project, honestly. It really just depends on the project and what kind of emotion is necessary and how long I have to carry.
So do you guys ever like psych each other, like, you know, hype each other up, like type thing? Was it like, would Derek come out and like, obviously, yes, this is real, Derek, I know, but like, but would you guys have moments like off screen where you'd be like, okay, like let's, you know,
I think it
get
was
each
more
other's
stunt
heads?
stuff. Not really. It was more with the stunt stuff. Like I think in terms of process, emotional process, I don't remember ever doing
No, we
anything
didn't.
like that.
We never
With
talked
stunt-
about it together. We'd go through the techniques to make sure everyone's
Yeah.
safe to the stunts.
Yeah.
But when it was good, we were both just committed to the scene and literally listening so well to each other and like giving each other, going back and forth and creating that energy, which is like it's like an emotional tennis match.
Yeah.
And it's just like that's when you connect with another actor. It is the best thing. Like sometimes you're like, fuck the script. Like where are we going? Like I'm with you right now.
Yeah.
It's
And
wonderful.
that was what was great about it. The journey, being able to take the journey and stay in it. Even though it was challenging emotionally,
Sure.
like to have professional actors that are with you on that journey and it's about the emotional journey of it. That's fun.
I think as viewers, we often forget, like, you know, you guys do such a good job of putting us there, but then we forget what in real life you guys are going through on set, whether it's heat or like heat stroke. We were just talking to Big Swag about like obviously having to get taken off of the TCM remake and stuff like that. Like, there's so much that you guys have to deal with.
Well, the wild thing is your body, you're basically lying to your came a week or two after you guys started.
Yeah, no, I was there the longest because I was part of the first group. First 10 minutes is like a whole.
Yeah, it really.
And then I was there for all the second part of the movie when I chained up and stuff. And then we ended up doing reshoots, which I think were tagged on to the end of the shoot, which extended it an extra.
Reshoots were like right after
They
the
didn't,
shot.
yeah, they were basically, they were kind of like editing while we were filming, so they kind of knew what they needed. And, yeah, I think it was about 9 or 10 weeks.
That's cool.
Have any fun on-set stories to bring up the levity? Because you're like doing all this, being all emotional. So when you're off screen, like, do you have any fun stories about that? Starting with Amanda, I want to do that.
My favorite is when you spooked Sadowski, which I can't tell it as well as you do.
Okay,
You're so good.
So we'll answer the question this way. So at one point, Jonathan Sadowski, who was Wade, the first guy to die with getting his pot and whatnot. At one point, we were in the middle of this dark forest in Texas. It's like 3 a.m. It's pitch black. And normal, like, cast and crew members are a little freaked out because it's like a little unsettling. And the porta potties are about like X amount of yards away. It goes into complete blackness and then it lights up to see the porta potties. A bunch of us are sitting behind the monitors watching the tape of the scenes, and Jonathan goes like, "Oh, guys, I gotta 10-1. I gotta go to the bathroom." Pops up and runs off to go into the restroom. Our producer, Andrew Form, goes with his toothpick and, "Yeah, somebody needs to scare that guy." And I go, "I'm on it." And he goes, "No, you're in full gear. Like, you're in full Jason gear." I go, "I know." So I cruised over and I went, "Oh, if I stay here, he's gonna know. He's gonna look to see if someone's gonna scare him." So I waited like halfway in between in the shadows. And I went, "Okay, I'm gonna stay here." So Jonathan comes out, and his side of the story is like, "Someone's gonna try to scare me." So I'm looking, and I'm like, "I don't see anybody." I'm like, "Okay." And I walk a little bit more, and I'm like, "No." He goes, "I was legitimately like uneasy." And as he walks through, I jump out, and rather than screaming, I want to do something weird so it wasn't normal, so your brain can't process it. So I went, and Jonathan physically does this. I go, "Oh, fuck, I was trying to scare you. It didn't work." He goes, "No, dude." He goes, "I was caught between fight or flight. I didn't know if I should run away or punch you in your effing face." He goes, "You got me. You really got me." So we had, again, the chemistry of the cast was so much fun. And we're all still friends to this day. So,
Guys, thank you so much. Amanda Righetti, Derek Maris, guys, buy their stuff. Get your autographs, okay? They're on time for the rest of the day.
also, applause for you guys for coming out because we're all here because we love horror. So thank you so much. And also thank you for being so kind to each other. All right. Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
guys.
Keep it that way.
At number 5, I have Rowan, played by Alexa Doig, from Jason X in 2001.
What the hell is going on?
Jason fucking Voorhees, that's what's going on.
She's a Crystal Lake Research Facility scientist. She prevents a countless number of people from being murdered by Jason, and she defeats them twice in one movie. In round 1, she shoots Jason with a shotgun, suspends him in a cryosleep, and wakes him up in the future ready for round 2. After futuristic medical nanites revive her, she uses her vast knowledge about Jason to help defeat him. She even goes up against the upgraded version, Uber Jason, in order to save the crew of the Grendel. She's brains, beauty, and brawn, wrapped up all in one. She'd be higher on the list if she took on Jason one-on-one, and if she was the one to defeat him. At number 4, I have Megan, played by Jennifer Cook, from Jason Lives in 1986.
Just because our parents keep telling us that Jason was only a legend doesn't mean it wasn't true. You know what today's date is, don't you?
She'd be higher on the list if she wasn't so annoying. Also, she teams up with Tommy Jarvis to take Jason down, so she loses a few points for that. But I love their chemistry. The whole film sets up her relentless fearlessness and her brash independence. When Tommy gets arrested, it's her idea to trick the cop into getting the gun and threaten him to get Tommy out. She had the initiative to break Tommy out. That's the important thing. And she delivers the killing blow with a boat propeller to save Tommy once again. She also saves him from drowning. So that alone makes up for the annoyingness a little bit. Just a little. Not much, but a little. She also demonstrated incredible balance on the chair in her father's office. And number 3, I have Trish, played by Kimberly Beck from a final chapter from 1984. Again, sort of like Megan, she'd be higher on the list if she wasn't working in tandem with her brother Tommy to help take Jason down. One of her biggest qualities is she managed to survive because she avoided the party she was invited to. So she missed out on the drugs, booze, and sex. Instead of doing that, she befriends Rob, the hitchhiker. He was looking for a sister, and she kind of helps him with that investigation too, even though he proves to be useless later on. But whatever, this is about the girls. She's smart, funny, resourceful, and she has a sweetness to her. And she looks after her mother, which is honorable. So right there, you got likable, you got relatable, and you got empathetic. She also demonstrates the will to survive, because multiple times in the final act, she battles and eludes Jason. Another perk is she uses Jason's machete to slice through his hand. Oh, that's brutal. And she unmasks him before being a distraction, so Tommy can deliver the killing blow. That's another reason why she loses points. And why she's not higher on the list. And she gets bonus points for jumping out of the window to help distract Jason to save Tommy. She lures him outside barefoot so he can make his escape. Now that is a good sister. And number 2, I have Skinny, played by Amy Steele, from Part 2 in 1981.
He must have seen his mother get killed. Her rage at what she thought happened. Bizarre, isn't it? And he must be out there right now, direction. What do you think?
She uses her degree in child psychology to help understand Jason's mindset.
What if there is a Jason? No, what if there is some kind of boy beyond the legend? Put it in real terms. A child trapped in a man's body.
And she tricks Jason by wearing Mrs. Voorhees' sweater to lure him into a false sense of security. She gets bonus points because Paul gets taken down pretty quickly, so she saves the day by herself. Even when Paul somehow miraculously shows up later, it's not long until Jason incapacitates him again. In fact, Ginny uses Jason's machete against him by thrusting it into his shoulder. This seemingly kills him in order to save Paul. And Muffy survives. I had the pleasure of meeting Amy Steele at Frightmare in the Falls in Niagara Falls, Ontario, Canada. And here's what she has to say about Friday the 13th. The real story straight from the source.
What a warm welcome from all you guys.
Wow, hi guys.
Hello everyone. Friday the 13th, part 2. We have the amazing Amy Steele and Lauren Marie Taylor. And I think we're supposed to, well, we're expecting Warrington Gillette.
We killed him.
Okay.
Had nothing to do, so.
Who
All
wants
right, well,
to talk
I-
to Jason? He didn't have any lines anyway.
Well, I guess we'll start, and if Warrington shows up, then you know, I will
We'll have
share
to
my
kill him again?
microphone with him, and yeah, we'll carry on, I guess. So first of all, thank you so much for both of you showing up. You're one of my idols. You're right up there with Jamie Lee Curtis.
God, what an honor.
You really are. I mean, isn't Amy Steele fantastic?
Yeah.
She is really fantastic. I mean, I can't even believe that I'm sitting next to you here. This is like my first. So let me just say that Friday the 13th Part 2 is one of my favorite horror films.
I love a bias MC.
Well, one of the. So, Amy, let's start with you. I would say that your character, Ginny, is one of the most iconic final girls in the entire series, along with Adrian King's Alice. I'm just wondering what it was about the character or your portrayal of her that made her so memorable and so beloved by fans to this day.
Well, I think it has to do with her authenticity, and also she thinks from here, not necessarily from here. And she had also at the same time not only strength and intelligence, but courage and compassion. And they're great ingredients to whether somebody is deranged or not, to try and figure out what's going on. I think it's just a skill that everybody can relate to in their lives. I mean, whether it be trying to figure out what's going on at work or with your crazy ass family or, with anything, it's like a little courage and a little compassion goes a long way. So I think that was Ginny.
So I have read that you auditioned for the role, and I'm just wondering if you could tell us, give us an idea about that audition. Like, what did you have to do? That they asked you to recite any lines from the script or scream, or what did you have to do to win the role?
Adrian has a really long and involved tale of her audition. Mine was not that. I think I just went a couple times. And I think the audition scene was the one with Paul, bullshit Paul, or using child psychology on you. And then I don't remember them asking me to scream. I think Ginny would have gone, what? I don't remember that parts, but maybe I was supposed to be scared at some point, but I don't even remember that part. I just remember saying, bullshit, Paul.
But I know Steve did a lot of the stuff in the film, I think.
Yeah, Amy can speak about that more so than I can.
So Warrington did that shot through the window with the makeup on. That scary, awful, scary shot. That was Warrington. Everything else was Steve Dash. Everything with the sack on and the eye was Steve Dash. The running, somebody said, I don't know if it was you, somebody said today that what was so cool about Part 2 is that he actually ran, and also that when I pulled the chainsaw, he kind of went, he just
kind of like a young person, like I don't want to say teenager, but kind of not really sure of himself. He's trying to do these things,
zombie. But not kind of this like walking, monster.
Indestructible kind of
monster.
Yeah.
He was more, I don't know, vulnerable when Ginny got to him. Especially, because I did maim Steve Dash in a couple different ways. With my non-stunt actor thing to him. But, he liked it, so.
So they didn't use any type of like prop weapons or anything like back then, or was it a combination of like prop weapons and maybe some real ones?
No, I don't remember any prop weapons. That was the scene right around the altar when I say, good boy, Jason, get on your knees, you've done your job well. And that was when I had the machete and he had the pickaxe, and I was supposed to, on the count of 3, bring the machete down. Well, they go 1, 2, and so I went like that, and then that's when I put the machete through his finger.
Oh.
It's hard, you guys, when you're working on a big time adrenaline to like count to 3. So So that was a real machete, and I remember the prop people said, "Oh my God, I can't believe they," or no, not the prop people, because they would have been guilty. It was somebody else said, "I can't believe that they don't have any props," and so they didn't, but anyway. And then same with I don't remember anything really light like rubber. Like I remember the pitchfork was real, everything was real.
Wow.
Maybe they were just such a low-budget film that they didn't have the ability to make all these prop weapons or the budget to do it like they would now.
Yeah, that definitely. Or the time. And you know what? People like at that, you know, when they hired all the actors then, it was just like, next. So I guess they thought that if anything bad really happened, next.
So you mentioned the scene where you're in Jason's shack with his mother's head, and that happening. How difficult was it filming the scene with Warrington and John at the end, and you know, little Muffin comes up to the door and whatnot? Was that particularly exhausting to do or really difficult to do in any way?
Yeah, it was a horrible scene to do at the end because we had to shoot it 3 different times. And maybe you guys have heard me say before, like if I told you all that in 30 seconds somebody was gonna come behind you and like basically scare the shit out of you or bust through that door, you can kind of feel it in your body, kind of get a little, even though you know, right? And so, especially if I said, no, everybody act really, really calm. Like almost go to sleep. And then all of a sudden I went 10, 9, 8, 7, but you all had to act calm. It's a mind fuck, honestly. So we did it once, and then the technical wise it just failed, and then we had to do it again like a week later or something. And then the 3rd time I remember Steve Miner said, "Hey, you know, Amy, let's go out to dinner on Sunday, you know, I'll take you to this nice restaurant." And I'm like, okay. And I think once I ordered the cheesecake, he said, "We have to shoot that scene again." And I was so upset. Like, there was a part of me, I was like gonna go, no, but like, really? So, yeah, it was a really stressful, difficult scene to shoot, for sure, because Jason does come through, it was glass, I mean, fake glass and fake wood and all that stuff, but it still crashes like glass. And also then we had a high-speed camera that when I told you guys have to be really calm and I was going to count down from 10, the high-speed camera goes like this. Okay, run high-speed camera. And so, like, then you have to act really calm. And there's a high-speed camera and somebody's going to bash through and grab you in like 2 seconds, but act calm. So it was really stressful. That's a long story, answer to your question.
What about the rest of the film? Was it, you know, aside from that scene, how was the rest of the filming? Was it relaxed or was it just, you know, go?
No, it was fun. You just like had to hit your mark and like move on. I mean, it wasn't rocket science. I mean, there weren't gajillions of dollars on it. So it was like Steve Miner, somebody asked me today about Steve Miner, how was he as a director? He goes, just do it. Just do it. Like, no method stuff. Like, don't do any wacky shit. Just do it. Just hit that mark and then scream and then just do it. So it was like, oh, I'll just do it. Right?
Well, I was going to ask you about Steve Miner, but I guess I won't now. So, I was going to ask, first of all, Amy, before I forget, I was going to ask this later, but so your character, Ginny, she's a therapist. She wants to do, work with children and whatnot. But I read that you actually got, into a type of your work as a therapist or a counselor or something. I was thinking, is this like light imitating art? Are you actually doing that kind of work at all?
Yeah, I'm a psychotherapist. That's what I do. That's my day job. Well, and my night job. Yeah, that's what I do. And you know what? Who knew how that was going to happen? I have no idea. It was actually a fan that came up to me at a convention and said, "Oh my God, that's what Ginny was doing." And I went, "Uh-oh." Yeah. So, yeah. And then somebody just sent me that.
That was
thing.
me. Yeah.
Oh my God, Lauren just sent me this thing from the Guiding Light where this guy who was playing opposite said, "You act like you're a psychologist." And I was like, holy shit. I was like, whoa. So yeah, I don't know how that happened, but yeah, that's what I did.
So do you have patients that come here and say, "Oh, I know you from Friday the 13th Part 2 or something like that," or do they not know about your acting history?
I use a different name, and also, but some people will, I don't really get people that are saying, "Hey, I know who you are, will you treat me?" You know, it's more of people that I've seen for a while go, "Hey, all of a sudden I went online to look for your number and I had no idea." It's more of that.
Okay. So I heard that you were approached to do Part 3, but you turned it down. Is that correct? And if so, why did you?
It's such a big regret.
It could have been the Ginny Adventures. I mean, there could have been like a whole series of films
and
with you.
You know what? It was a great script. I got 53 pages of just an amazing script, like Ginny, as in like Linda Hamilton and Terminator. It was so good. But I think what happened is you don't usually see two people come back in Friday the 13th, right? All right, except for those guys.
Well, she got off top right before the credits.
So I think what happened, if I remember correctly, is that my agent asked for a fair wage. And they said, "Nah, let's just get another one in." So I think that they said, "No, we don't want to pay her anymore." And then they went and got a whole other script and kind of kept doing that. So I think that's what really happened. So it's kind of a bummer. It's a big regret for sure. I mean, especially because we never knew we'd be sitting here on this day. You know, I mean, hindsight 2020, but.
So it sounds like the script was much different than what they ultimately used for Part 3.
Oh yeah, it was very different. It started with Ginny was at college. She was treated like a weirdo with PTSD, and on a Friday night, everyone said, "Hey, we're gonna go party," and my roommate said, "Can I borrow your car, Ginny? You know, the red convertible." And so I said, "Sure, borrow my car." And so I go downstairs to go do my laundry. I open the dryer, and there's Paul's head. So I go, "Oh my God." And then actually a little bit before that, like there's a scene where I go out to a bar and hang out with some friends, and people are like teasing me, and I do all these like karate chops and beat up like 5 bros at college. I mean, how satisfying. Okay, then anyway, so the roommate, the cops come to my dorm room saying, "Oh my God, Ginny, you're alive?" And I go, "Wait, what?" And they go, "Well, your roommate's dead in your car." I call up what's his name? Beer bottle guy at the bar, Ted.
Oh, Ted.
I call up Ted and I go, "Ted, guess what? He's back." Ted goes, "He's the only one that believes me that I'm not crazy." And so he says, "Okay, I'll meet you at, Main Street in 10 minutes. And so we meet and start trying to go track down Jason. And then, so it was only 53 pages of the script. So that's what happened, everybody. So when you ask me where's Paul, that's the best I can do. His head is in the dryer.
I was going to ask you about Paul, but I guess I don't have to now. Did Paul survive? We don't know. We don't like what happened to him,
His
So, but
head's in the
now we
dryer.
know. Okay.
Shrunken.
Got a fling in his hair.
Is there anything, I'm going to open the floor to some questions in a moment, but I was just wondering if there's anything that either of you would like to mention, about, your experiences working on the film and the fans that you've met over the decades. Are you glad that you were part of this series?
Oh, yeah.
Great. It's always been shocking and surprising. Like half the greatest thing about being here is when you get to see people with all this like joy in them. And I know when you watch something when you're young and then you grow up and like it's real and it's weird to kind of see us in person and everything. It's when it's kind of in your psyche. And so to see that joy is really cool because honestly, we're just people. Like we're the same thing. We're just people. But you get to still see the joy.
Yeah.
And that is very cool. It's the gift that keeps on giving for sure. Plus, you guys have healthcare, so you're happy.
Well, I think it's great that the both of you. Is this your first time to Canada, or have you ever been here?
No, I've been to Canada a bunch, but I have never been to Niagara Falls.
Oh, okay. But I mean, like you said, Jason gets all the attention, and I mean, yeah, sure. I mean, without a Jason, there would be no films. But it's great to have you guys here too. I'm really, I'm really happy that you guys are here and I can talk with you and everything, and everybody, I'm sure is happy that they can hear what all your recollections from the films and everything.
What we remember.
All right. I guess I'm going to open it up to the floor and to get some questions in. Who wants to go first? All right, we'll get everybody in. We got enough time. All right.
My question is for Amy. When you were cast, did you know you were going to be the final girl going into it, or was that something decided later on? Like, was that in the original script? Like, were you always the final girl?
It's the same. It's final. But, we didn't have final girls then. They just said the girl that confronts Jason or something, But, yeah, it was in the script. It was all written.
That's awesome. I wasn't sure if it was going to be, like, something that was changed later on, or if you knew, like, what you were getting into. Like, thank you.
I didn't know what I was getting into, but I did read the script. So it's like, I don't know why, but who knows? Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Hi. Okay, so both ladies. So after you're done the films, did you guys like I know it takes a lot of mental work to do your parts and your characters. So after the film was done, did you guys have any like PTSD or like dealt with any like mentally, physical after it's a lot of crap you guys go through, right? So did it affect you after you were done?
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like, I remember the very last day, everyone was gone, and I had to go get something from the set, and it was just weird. It's just eerie, it's like camp's over, but you have to still stay because your parents haven't picked you up.
All right, so let's get one question here first. Yep. Go ahead.
So I just saw Friday the 13th Part 2 yesterday.
For the first time?
Thursday.
Yeah.
Did it work? Did it work?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay.
So I haven't seen that many horror movies, but what are your favorites? Would you say?
Yeah, I mean, I cannot watch horror because The Exorcist killed it for me.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Okay. All right.
This question is for both of you. Why do you think people are drawn to horror movies? Like, why are people such rabid fans?
Because they take you out of your reality.
Well, and you get to survive something, so you get courage. If they can do it. There's just a whole piece that was just written, I think, in Washington Post or New York Times about why people like horror films, and I'm always drawn like, just tell me why, because I don't. But it was just talking about the research behind it is that if you can survive that and that scare, that fear that you experience viscerally, and then all of a sudden in life you kind of feel that fear, and it's like, no, I can get through this. I can get through this. Whether it be trying to interview for a new job or, doing stuff that scares you, What do they say? Do one thing every day that scares you.
My question is, did you guys take anything from set? And if not, what would you have taken?
Ooh,
Good question.
That sweater?
All right. Yeah, the sweater.
got the sweater.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah.
what about you?
I guess maybe the sweater, and then like maybe
Or
the
the head,
chainsaw, or the
Chainsaw.
you know, what if like I had the chainsaw or something? I don't know. That's kind of cumbersome. I don't know. That's a good question. I have to think about that one.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Did they have you guys staying at the camp when you finished filming for the day, or did you guys have hotels nearby?
We were all staying at the camp, in the cabin.
That's cool.
Possibly was doing places you guys slept.
It was creepy. You know,
I loved it. I loved camp as a kid, and I grew up in suburbia, so I thought it was great.
I think we have time for one more quick question. Yeah.
I'll do it. Amy, you kind of recently returned in a way to Ginny with the Jason Rising film with Adrian. How did that come about?
Somebody asked me to do something, and it looked cool, and it came from people that I know, and voiceovers are always great. I love doing voiceovers because it doesn't entail wardrobe or makeup or travel or anything, and so it was like, yeah, like I can do it on my phone, and if it, you know, and it's cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was really happy to do that.
I enjoyed it. It was really good.
Yeah,
So,
good. I'm glad.
Hopefully you get to do more of it.
Yeah.
Alrighty, I think we can do one more quick question. We got like another minute or two.
This one's for you, Lauren. How much did you enjoy or dislike getting your death scene in the movie?
oh, I love screaming. Oh my God. I love screaming so much that other movies got wind of my scream, and I actually dubbed in other movies screaming, which totally screwed with what happened. I was on like my final callback for a Broadway musical, and it was for Sondheim, and I went in and I had no voice because I'd been screaming the previous day. So yeah, I got called out by him on that one. But yeah, I just love screaming. I could scream all night.
Alrighty, I think on that note, we will call it quits with this. Thank you very much, everyone, for. And we got about Warrington, but maybe we'll get a chance to hear from them next time.
Thanks
All
for
right,
coming,
thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And finally, my number one pick is Tina, played by Laura Park Lincoln, from A New Blood in 1988.
What are you talking about? God, it's you.
The superpowered Fauna Girl has the best chances against Zombie Jason. Beyond that, the socially awkward Wallflower doesn't really like parties, practices abstinence, and avoids drugs and alcohol, even prescription ones. So, with her powers, she uses electrocutions, bludgeonings, strangulation from hanging, and explosions against Zombie Jason. Despite how stupid it is that her zombie dad is the one that kills Jason, I'm convinced she's the cause of that happening. While there is a difference between correlation and causation, her father was on her mind the whole flick. In the beginning, it starts with small acts of telekinesis, gradually building up to bigger ones. She does more damage to Jason than any other Fauna Girl before or after her. She's a tough act to follow. So, in conclusion, Friday the 13th is a very special day because it only happens once or twice a year, depending on what calendar year it is. It's very similar, ironically, to the Friday the 13th franchise in the 80s when they were pumping out film after film year after year too. Periodically, they'd be released annually, all the way up until the 90s. That's when the franchise was at its peak. Sure, the franchise has had its up and downs over the years, but I think we can all agree, no matter what your superstitious beliefs are, the legacy of Camp Crystal Lake looms large because of more than just dumb luck. All these women have cemented themselves as horror icons for a reason, and they all deserve some degree of respect. Except the disqualified ones. Screw them. So, do you agree with my list? Who's your favorite Friday the 13th final girl? So, until next time, happy Friday the 13th. I just hope you're the last one alive. If anyone's going to be the last one alive, it might as well be you.
It's Noah, film critic extraordinaire. Today, Jason's the birthday boy.
Well. This is Ursula.
Oh, do you know what that means, BB Kitty? Daddy should have made a video about him instead of the coils. Yeah. I think not, BB Kitty.
Well, yeah. But still, yet, it means we should sing the song. For he's a jolly good fellow. Ho ho ho. Did you know that I'm a film critic for HorrorBuzz.com? You can read my reviews on their website, and I make frequent appearances on their YouTube channel, HorrorBuzz Live. So I'll leave links below for that too.